Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Bork. In today's video, we'll be covering the weekly arena for Konosuba Fantastic Days. Also, if you enjoyed today's video or if it helps you out, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel. And we're also talking about this battle arena right here. And what I like about arena, it's more PvE related. But let's go ahead and talk about this Dullahan boss right here. So beware of his dark physical attacks and just note he's going to be dealing some haze, bind, and magical attacks. Now, some of you are probably wondering what is haze, seal, bind, all that stuff. So right here, this is a Google spreadsheet by Keystar, and if you read the status effects, it's essentially negating or delaying incoming damage. It's all chance based, and essentially bosses can provide this capability, or sometimes you can even land a haze on the enemy as well. But just note that these are probably one of the most troublesome status effects that you will deal with. So how do you mitigate that? If you go into the advanced mode right here, this is my recommendation. This is probably the area where everyone should be, dealing damage to the boss, ideally at the end of the day. But this is the gear that you want to focus on. It's going to be stuff like this where it has the haze resistance. All right, you want haze resistance because this is going to be for your physical related characters. This will help them not actually get this debuff. Just note you don't really have to worry about it for most of your magical related characters. It does sort of affect someone like Aqua because some of her skills are physical related, so that's a bit annoying. And she does have like a magic variant form, so technically speaking you would want the haze resistance on her as well. But the thing that technically would affect her, if we let's say had like a magical character like someone like Aru, then we would want some like seal resistance or some bind resistance. That way her magical damage can still flow. If she gets haze, it doesn't really matter because she's going to be dealing magical damage. I don't think it really affects it. Feel free to correct me down in the comments, of course. These are going to be the different status effects. Obviously you just don't want your magical characters to be sealed, and your physical characters, you don't want them in a haze. But I believe all these status effects in general, haze, seal, and bind, are terrible. So if you can mitigate them as much as possible, then I highly recommend it by wearing specific accessories. All right, so one recommendation I also have for arena is, of course, have everyone level 60, have all your sub slots ideally level 60. Look at this, I even have like my 1-star Melissa at level 60. I think it's fine. I'm still going to be using her. I don't have other forms of Melissa and I still recommend it. Have some gear. Ideally you have gold gear on your main damage dealers. You don't really need like gold gear for the sub slots for as far as like accessories goes, but I feel like maxing these out right here is worth it for everyone. So feel free to go crazy on gold upgrades. Obviously if you have like the rainbow gear or like the SSR gear, then I recommend that. And you can also tell which element to sort of use. If you click some of like the boss notes, it says he's weak to water damage, and then for these guys I believe it doesn't really say much. They're probably weak to like the same things, but you can also see the recommended element is going to be water and light, and it also says the recommended power. Obviously you can have less power. If you play on manual, that's ideal, and you can see our total power is a little bit higher. Not to mention I have my healer in the front. Some people actually like to put their healers in the back, so that way when they do appear in the front line they can cast their heals quickly. But I like to leave Aqua in the front for my auto purposes because I'm not really going to time her heals or anything. But let's go ahead and get this arena started so you can sort of see how my auto team flows. Obviously not everyone has Melissa and not everyone has Iris. I got these characters out of luck. You don't have to use them. They're just generally the like most widely used characters. Now some of you might be wondering, should I be using Melissa even though it's a darkness boss? Personally, I don't have any other better characters, so she's like my best bet. And not to mention she's going to be doing some defense breaks, which is really nice. Now some of you also asked me, is there any reason to sort of play this on manual? I think there is a reason in case you sort of want to time the heals against the boss, but personally speaking I'm not trying to min-max it. By timing your heals I mean that you would stop the game so that instead of Aqua spamming her heals at an inappropriate time, you could heal when you actually need the skill. And you would obviously play this on like normal speed, do it like this. You could probably put it on 1-time speed, like right there it's better to do an auto attack, right here it's better to do an auto attack. But whenever you have their heal available for the character, then technically speaking you would save it until you actually need it. So for this portion I would recommend everyone to sort of experiment what they want to do with manual play. Obviously like everyone's situation is different because some people like just sort of spam skills, but as you can see here we passed out at the 11-second mark. Funny enough, this is still like one of my higher damage points, so very interesting at the end of the day. And another thing to take note of, and I know my party did like sort of die out there, it's mostly because I didn't run enough healers. I ran up enough healers and that would be more beneficial to me. You can run double healer comps, but some people like to go full glass cannon with like Megumin. I still think Megumin like in a team is probably one of the best ones because at the end of of the day, damage is king, but those are some of my recommendations. Timing heals is probably the most important thing for Arena or any game mode. So another thing that I want to talk about, if you jump into rewards right here, this actually resets weekly. So you can see August 30th through September 6th. Every single week, there's going to be a new set of rewards for everyone to get, which I think is really nice. It gives everyone the capability to essentially get the 50 quartz, which is amazing, and not to mention some arena coins. Actually, you can get 100 quartz, which is really amazing, and you can also get the, I believe this is like Eris medals, right? And those are going to be good for the SSR weapons. So overall, everyone has a chance. You don't have to be, you know, ranking in platinum in order to get like the best deals, in order to get enough arena coins. Just being able to do the weekly rewards, and all you really have to do is participate every single day. Just do your 3 runs in advanced mode, and I feel like you could be able to get like all the weekly rewards. And once you get through that part, I feel like you've done some of the hardest sections in the game. And another thing that you can do is also jump into exchange right here. Now, I actually don't want to jump into this exchange. This exchange right here actually lets you view all the different metal types. And of course, when it comes to the arena medals, I've recommended it before. Save for these rainbow pieces of gear if you can. If you're feeling a little bit impatient and you need power now, of course, grab like the weapons. I feel like the weapons are definitely worth it, especially if you're trying to save yourself on some stamina. You know, save yourself for rainbow gear ideally. Now, the best gear in the game is going to be from the goddess medals, all right? So one of the things I don't recommend is trying to get these guaranteed 4-star tickets. Definitely go for like these scrolls right here. You only need one. If you go to crafting right here, it'll tell you how many you need in order to craft the weapon. It's only one, and it's by far the strongest weapons in the entire game. If you look at it, this is 67, provides some physical attack and some agility. If you look over here, less agility, more physical attack. Obviously, the physical boost is going to be much stronger. This is 9%, and this is going to be 10%. Not that huge of a difference, but overall more physical attack and just more damage overall for everyone to do. So that's going to be one of my recommendations. This exchange right here isn't really talked about. Now, if you guys are wondering, this is going to be sort of like your dupe system sort of deal. If you're wondering how do you get like these adventure medals, if you go over, I believe, into team right here, and then you go into reserves, you can essentially click these characters and you can get reserve or adventure medals. Now, some of you are wondering, is it worth it to actually do this? In my recommendation, I think it's best to sort of upgrade everyone and get them to max skill. So for example, I believe we had an extra copy of her, this version of Rin, so we can upgrade her skills. You can see it's all level 1, and if you use the reserves, it's hit okay, and then it actually levels them up by like 4 times. So in my opinion, I feel like it's worth it in some ways if you see yourself sort of running a mono water team, which would be sort of useful for the current Kraken event. Now, I was looking into raising other characters because I was like, man, I can't like use non-water characters for this one. Or if I wanted to use more of a free-to-play team, you know, not using Melissa or not using Iris, then I would run like those specific units. Please do not ignore like the 2 stars and 3 stars that you have and just run 4 stars, because those units with specific elements are going to be really good. Let's go ahead and jump into Kraken really quick. I just want to show off that I did manage to be expert. We'll show it on a different video. It won't let me do the run because I already finished it for the day, but I'm just going to go ahead and show off the team. I doubt I can one-turn this, but one of the things that I also want to showcase is if you go into the spreadsheets, mine specifically, and then you go into the event section, it is actually worth it to do Flame Kraken after 4 runs. You get 75 medals. If it takes you 2 runs to do hard drop, it's 22. So technically speaking, if you're like, oh, is it worth to like spend more stamina or spend more tickets on like the harder difficulties on expert? Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And this isn't the team I'm using. I'm using the Mia team. And my biggest recommendation, of course, is to just get some flame earrings for everyone. These flame earrings definitely help with survival. We're gonna go ahead and place that there, and we're also going to be replacing Dust's gear with that as well. So something like this is what I recommend. You have 2 healers. You don't put the healers right in the front center together, because if you have like the healer stacking, technically speaking, you're doing more healing than actual damage. It's just one of my recommendations. It's up to you how you want to like configure the team. No, you don't need Iris and Melissa. if you run like a water team, I feel like that's just as good. Go ahead and place this on auto if you let me do it. Some of you might be wondering what's the best way. Can I run this on manual and be more efficient? Yes, you absolutely can. Like I said with the arena section, if you're able to time your heals appropriately, you're not wasting your heals when your characters are essentially at max HP. That's the best way to run this game on manual. Let's go ahead and improve the speed a little bit so we can just get this going. Now, if you're wondering what if I time like my defense breaks and stuff, I feel like that is also going to be greatly beneficial to you. But honestly speaking, when it comes to like min-maxing to that degree, it's really debatable at some points because it's more about trying to complete the entire run in one turn at that point. And it's also more about having characters that are all like level 60 and stuff and having the appropriate gear. Is 4 stars required? No, I'm going to be showing some teams where they're running like water teams and they're running 3-star Chris and 3-star Aru. I think those teams are more effective. And just note that the team I'm showcasing right now, it does like the extreme modes in 4 runs. We'll do it in a different video, that way you guys can see it. But ideally you can deal like the 64% range against like the boss in hard mode, and that's how you know you're probably ready for expert mode. And if you're wondering, technically doing this in 5 runs, it's debatably worth it as well, because you technically get like the 75 like medals. Anyways, this is the team that was able to complete it as well. Just notice the Chris is 3-star, note the Mia is 3-star, and note the Aru is 3-star. And the only characters that I guess they're most difficult to get is going to be Aqua. Chris at 3-star water is probably one of the more better characters for this event because she can actually deal physical damage. And of course, Aru is going to be really nice because her damage is pretty phenomenal as well. I believe you can use Union as well if you want to, but I've been seeing a lot of Arus between the different threads. If you check this one as well, thank you to u/dying Baka, and you can see this is the team that they're using. Obviously it's a little bit more high end, but I feel like this one is slightly more feasible. And in case you're wondering, I just want to showcase one more thing. If you go into my team right here, and if you're wondering, I did upgrade my Mia's skills a little bit, so she's going to be a little bit better than your average Mia. But I just want to, you know, explicitly say that. You can see level 4 on her heal, level 4 on her water ability, and level 3 on her attack. In summary, it's really all about looking at the enemies like skills and what they can do, haze, bind, you know, their typings and everything, timing the heals, timing your defense breaks on manual. That's going to be the biggest things, knowing what the debuffs actually do. And then when it comes to like the actual Kraken event, it all comes down to gearing up like the equipment and having like the correct elements in order to tackle the boss. And if you can deal like roughly 65% to 75% damage on the hard mode, then I believe you're ready for expert. We'll do that run on a different day, like I said. Anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. This helps you out. I'm super happy it did. Once we hit 27,500 subs, we'll be doing a giveaway. Thanks so much. Have yourself a fantastic day, and hopefully I see you in the next one.